All right, ladies, who are you?
Wouldn't you like to know? My name is Dr. Amy MacKinnon. I've been a chiropractor here in Calgary for almost 11 years now. Started Coalition Performance Care in 2017 and then joined forces with Carla officially, although we've been working together for a long time, just recently as co-owner of Vital Performance Care.
And my name's Carla Robbins. I am also a co-owner of Vital Performance Care, formerly Vital Strength and Physiology. I've been an exercise physiologist in Calgary for about 14 years, and Amy and I have been working together for almost 10 years now, so we're really excited about this new collaboration.
How did the partnership or merger come together between Coalition and Vital?
So Amy and I have been working together since about 2015 in a different space and separately as different companies. So Coalition was more the therapy, manual therapy side of things, chiro initially, and then eventually some physio massage. And we existed separately. I was more the training side of things, exercise physiology, strength and conditioning. And it wasn't until 2020 that we merged into the same space, operating still under these two different training companies. And that really accelerated our partnership. And yeah, since then we've been collaborating on clients a whole bunch over the last 5 years, and that's sort of what brought this about until recently.
You'd be hard pressed to find a client that doesn't exist within our two ecosystems. And so that's why we're so excited that Eau Claire Athletic Club gave us the opportunity to actually showcase this as Vital Performance Care within this building.
What do your typical clients look like?
Driven individuals who refuse to settle, ultimately.
Yeah, we have a really broad range of clients, ranging from people who are injured or currently in pain to high performance athletes, even at the Olympic or World Cup level, and then everything in between. So in general, they're again, driven individuals, and we try to adapt a care model that fits with them. So both on the manual side, manual therapy side, and the training side. And so that's kind of why we feel like we're a really good fit for ECAC, because we're trying to get it all under one roof to serve our members the best way possible.
Can you guys share a success story or a case study that highlights your approach?
Definitely. So two really good ones. I'll mention the first one. So we had an athlete who was initially a Coalition client. While this person got, I guess, promoted or made it onto the national team for bobsled, they were doing pretty well initially. Then over the course of 4 years, as they tried to make it through another Olympic cycle after going to the Olympics, they just started to get worse, strangely. Strength numbers were going down, speed numbers were going down, mental health was declining, and injuries were cropping up a whole bunch. So this client then got referred to Vital, and we started to handle the training side of things. And over the course of the following 4 years, this person got faster, stronger, way less injuries, to the point of sort of the penultimate was breaking every North American track and start record for bobsled and qualifying a sled to the following Olympics. So that's one of my favorite success stories to talk about. And then the second one was completely different.
Yeah, very different, very similar. Carla spoke to this earlier in our questions, just about how we use the same sort of approach, whether they're an Olympic athlete. And my example is actually someone in the corporate world, very driven individual, very high-paced, stressful job, where they needed to reevaluate their health a little bit and decide, okay, they're above 55 years of age, they're going a mile a minute, and they just didn't know how to get back into health and wellness. Became fascinated with longevity, and so they came in just as an Olympic athlete would, training for, I believe this person was started to run again, really wanted to get back into endurance running. Came in to see Carla at Vital Strength and Physiology, and then Carla recommended this person to come over to us because they were struggling with as the training numbers were going up, the mileage was going up, they started to notice some long-term sort of injuries that had come up before, maybe come up again. So we incorporated manual therapy into that, and this person feels like they're being taken care of from all sides.
What sets Vital apart from other clinics or training facilities?
Yeah, so we have a very unique approach in that we try to sort of meet everybody where they're at right now and adapt to what they need on an ongoing basis. So we try not to use rigid frameworks. We try not to use one plan that fits everybody. We really customize a lot. And from the care side, we try to make sure to kind of put a team together around somebody so that the person feels really supported and cared for.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we're really adaptable and curious. And I think that's where ECAC we aligned with really well in the beginning, because ECAC wanted to provide a community of services and things under one roof the same way we do at Vital. So that was a no-brainer for us to partner with them.
What therapy services does Vital provide?
So we are going to start with 3 or 4 basic services with the potential to expand. So right now we're focused on chiropractic care, physiotherapy, massage therapy, and manual osteopathic therapy, which exists in our current model. The cool thing about our practitioners is, for example, our chiropractors, it's not just a 10-minute adjustment treatment. Physiotherapists, it's not just ice and heat and a couple exercises. You actually won't see a huge difference between some of our chiros and our physios. We have a big toolbox, so we can access all kinds of manual techniques. Our massage therapists, they do a wide breadth as well. So anywhere from relaxation all the way to cupping to hot stone to sport deep tissue massage. The point is we have a lot to offer, and one client might fit better with one chiropractor versus the other, or one physio versus the other, but we have many things that we're excited to bring in.
And one of the things that stands out for our clinicians and our therapy is that they all refer to each other in a collaborative way. So if you go to chiropractic, but they don't feel like it's like their treatments are enough for you, they might refer you to the foot physio that's going to really take your foot stuff to the next level, or to a specialized massage therapist that's maybe more what you need right now. And so you won't see this like siloed approach. You'll see very much a collaborative thing where the client comes in the door and all of a sudden they have a team around them in the clinic.
Perfect. And one term I've heard you guys use lots is an ecosystem. Very much is that, hey? Sounds
very much, yeah. It's very unique.
What training services would you or Vital provide?
So we're planning on providing a huge range of services there. We're planning on hiring a range of kinesiologists, exercise physiologists, strength and conditioning coaches, and personal trainers. And again, it seems like those are all very different services, but there's a lot of overlap between those professionals. So you'll see them, on the floor with certain people, and then also be able to overlap with a different clientele or a different population or a different injury rehab or something like that. But we'll have a range of services ranging from personal training, so kind of that one-on-one approach of here's my goals, my health goals, my strength goals, my injury rehab goals, and I need to work one-on-one with somebody. We'll also have 3-on-1 small group training. Now, the way that we do it right now is a more customized approach. So it's not join a class and do whatever the class is doing that day. It's very much do an assessment with us. We'll figure out what you need based on your goals, and then your custom program would be what you do in that small group training. So really the only difference is that you've got one coach on 3 people within the same area coaching you through your program. But some people just don't want that extra one-on-one training. So that's a good option, or if someone wants to train more with their buddies. And then we also have performance testing and or just client assessments. So what that will involve is kind of a range of things that you can kind of a la carte do with the client depending on what they need. Performance testing might be for someone after a more serious fitness goal, like needing VO2 max testing, lactate threshold testing, body comp testing for body fat percentage and things like that. They might need more jump and power testing, asymmetries testing, musculoskeletal testing or isolated joint testing, and movement testing. So just seeing how you squat, seeing how you do a single leg squat. If certain movements are causing a problem, like the way you walk or the way you run, we can do movement assessments and gait assessments for that as well. So we've got 3 big categories, but a lot of different things being offered.
Yeah, sounds very diverse.
And I think something to note about what Carla just said about the performance testing is we trust the trainers at Vital to look at things with a clinical lens. So I know that if I send a client over to Carla or one of the trainers, they might pick up on something that I haven't seen from a clinical and orthopedic perspective. And then we can work together to develop both the programming and the on-table manual support so that we can access the things we need for that client.
I've heard you guys have and offer some online offerings. What would those look like?
Yeah, we have a huge range of online offerings right now. So the first one is our foundations programs. We have foot foundations, hip foundations, and shoulder foundations. So this is like a kind of done for you program with 3 phases to progress you sort of from a build up from the ground up kind of approach. It's app-based and it's 3 months long. So if you've got like some shoulder stuff you're dealing with and one of the clinicians recommends that you do one of the foundations programs, that's a good start. Or if you're just interested in trying out that 3-day-a-week, 1 mobility day per week program, then we can get you on that program very easily as well. So these are for more rehab or ground up stuff. Then we have the $20 Strength Club. This one is for people ready to get going in the gym or they're not really sure what to do with their strength training. So it's 3 days a week. We have a no equipment version, a full equipment version, and we have a performance version with plyometrics and Olympic lifts. The regular $20 Strength Club is probably our most popular one because it's just approachable, it has structure, and it changes every single month. And but the other ones are there too. If you're on vacation, hop on the no equipment one, for example, so people can ebb and flow on that one. And then our other online offerings are our customized strength training programs and our customized endurance training programs. And that's really for people with a more specific goal or a more specific need for sort of that like weekly touch point coaching. So if you're training for a marathon, I'd highly recommend getting one of our custom endurance programs so that it fits to your schedule, it fits to your training sessions when you're coming into the ECAC for your training and what equipment you have access to. If you're doing more of a custom strength goal or you've got a complex kind of injury rehab that we need a little more coaching for, then those customized strength programs are good for that.
All right, I'm a ECAC member. How do I know who to book with and how do I know where to go online to book?
$1 million question. Yeah. So we look at our clients kind of in 2 streams because we have kind of 2 streams to our business model. If you are a ECAC member and say you're suffering from something, so you've just rolled your ankle 6 weeks ago, you're just getting back into training, or you have low back pain or something like that, we would recommend booking with our clinical team. And if you are no issues, currently working out, just looking to improve in their performance and continue to stay fit, we'd say book training sessions. Now, it's always like, who the heck do I book with, right? Do I book with Carla? Do I book with this trainer? Do I book with this chiropractor? If you aren't sure, email us, call us, pull us aside at the club. You'll get to know our faces. But sometimes it doesn't really matter. If you book with someone, say you have an injury, you book with one person, that clinician at Vital will make sure that if there is a better person for you within that clinic ecosystem, they'll refer you to that person. So there's no wrong answer there. And yeah, we're always available to answer those questions if anyone.
So the whole team's there to help assist and guide you 100%. Wherever you need to go.
And sometimes we don't know right away, right? So someone comes in and I see it and I'm like, oh, cool, this is simple ankle case. And they come and they're like, I just dislocated my shoulder. I'm like, I'm going to send you over here to the person who's better at shoulders, for example. So we'll ebb and flow with the clients to make sure they get to where they need to go.
Makes sense.
So for booking online, we'll have a link on your website, the ECAC website, and a link on the Vital website to make it really easy and obvious to just go online and get right to the place they need to be to book under both clinic or training services under one name, Vital.
And the ECAC staff will have knowledge of our services, so they'll be able to assist as well. Yeah.
What does a typical first visit or assessment look like for a new client in each one of these pathways?
Totally. So on the clinical side, it's going to depend a little bit, but we typically follow a pretty structured model. So client's going to come in and we're really going to get to know them. So what's your history? What are your past injuries? Tell me all your darkest secrets. Just kidding. But really getting to know that client. I do a lot of talking in my first assessments, listening, but asking really detailed, oriented questions. We'll then get into a physical assessment. So we might do some orthopedic testing. If it's a knee, we'll do all the ligamentous stress tests, for example. Maybe watch them walk or squat. There'll be some similarities between the training pathway and the clinical pathway. Usually at that point, we would create a diagnosis or a working diagnosis with maybe some alternatives to say, hey, if this isn't the path we're going to take and this isn't working, we're going to revisit this diagnosis process again and come back to that. And then we come up with a plan. We make recommendations and we say, you know what, I think, dry needling, soft tissue work, and a couple exercises, and then you're going to go over to Carla and we're going to look at your training plan would be good. The good thing with our Vital associates, trainers, and clinicians is we're always looking to explore different pathways. So we will never do the same treatment plan for longer than, call it 2 to 6 weeks if there's no improvement. So if we're not reaching some sort of key performance indicators or metrics and we're not super happy or the client isn't super happy, we'll revisit that and reassess and go from there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from the training perspective, first session, generally speaking, will involve some of that, again, dialogue and figuring out what the training history is like, and if there's any discomfort or pain, what kind of motions kind of cause that. We might typically start with some kind of gait assessment, in other words, running or walking assessment. We might go into some testing on the force plates, because we can measure asymmetries in your squat, we can measure your balance, we can measure your push-up, we can measure a whole bunch of things on there, all the way up to jump testing and more high performance testing. Then we will typically do a little bit of isolated joint testing on the force frame, meaning how strong are you at certain muscles and certain angles, just to get a more well-rounded picture of the person. From there, we may do some more functional tests in the gym. We might do a little bit more movement assessment testing with some filming and videoing. And from there, we'll write up a very detailed report and send that to the client and or to their clinicians at the clinic, so that we all are on the same page about what the plan is moving forward.
And I think another thing to add to that is if both the training and the clinical side don't know, say we've executed a plan on either end, we put our heads together and we think that this client needs a second look, or a referral out to, call it a sports physician, or we refer to psychology, we refer for imaging, we'll make sure that the client gets to where they need to go within the YWC community. And that's something that ECAC vouches for, is their connection within the community. And we have really, really great connections that are not necessarily, we try and put as much under one roof, but we know we can't put everything here. We'll make sure that we get clients out the door to who they need to see.
What are some misconceptions people have about the services you guys offer?
Thanks for asking that question, Warren. One of my favorite ones to answer, especially as a chiropractor. I get memes on a daily basis of people cracking skeletons. We've all seen those on Instagram. So one of the things is our chiropractors don't just crack backs, send their clients on their way in 5 minutes. Now, I do want to state that an adjustment is very effective, and it's just not what we do. There's a more comprehensive approach. Our chiropractor might do soft tissue work and needling as well as an adjustment. For our physiotherapists, there's a bit of a misconception sometimes that they just put modalities on them, like IFC current and ice and heat, whereas our physiotherapists are much more hands-on. So they will do some needling, some soft tissue work, and they might even do some adjustments very similar to chiropractic care. And for a massage therapist, they're not just about relaxation, even though that is an element to their care, but they have lots of tools as well that they utilize in their practice.
One of the biggest misconceptions I see in my industry is that personal training is not a real career, or what is exercise physiology? Like when you're in your undergrad in kinesiology, they say the word exercise physiologist, and you're like, what's that? I've never even heard of one before. With Vital, we're trying to change that. We're trying to make it known that our professionals are professionals. They're experts in their field. I've been an exercise physiologist since 2011, so that's, 14 years. And I want it to be known what we do on a daily basis and how we can help people. So hopefully this is going to be a great start with ECAC to really help your members know and the rest of the public understand that we are not just weekend course trainers, we are professional trainers. The other big misconception I see in this industry is, hearing the word exercise physiologist or kinesiologist and thinking, oh, you guys only train athletes, or you do performance testing, you only train athletes. The reality is that we see, the 6-year-old that's just getting out of a cast, and we're trying to get them back to the soccer field, all the way up to the 95-year-old that's trying to move in a safe way so that they can get their bone density stronger, and so that they can get more functionality out of their life. And then we just see everyone in between. So like I said, we do see some athletes, but we do see a lot of just 30-somethings trying to get a little bit stronger or get out of back pain. We see some 60-year-olds that want to run an ultra marathon as fast as possible.
Where can our ECAC members find you guys, or where are you located?
So the clinic is located on the second floor, just across from the men's and women's locker room. So if you go up the spiral staircase, second floor, just hang a left and you'll see our door right beside the elevator.
For our trainers that will be on the floor, you can find our personal training desk just across from the cardio platform, and that's where our trainers will be housed with their desks and everything. So through the window, just give us a little hi and you'll be able to pop in and see us there.
Amazing. All right, ladies, thank you very much for being here, providing a lot of clarity with what you guys do and what you're about. If any of our members wanted some more questions answered, where would they go, or where could they get in contact with you guys?
Yeah, so they can just email us at info@vitalperformancecare.com and we'll get back to them super fast.
And these are our faces, so just grab us.
Come and find
yeah, come find us.
Great.
Yeah.